In this new world, there is no room for heresy.
It's over. We lost.
We ain't done yet. Even if I have to drag your broken fucking carcasses over the finish line, we are going all the way. No matter the cost.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. The boys released a brand new Season 5, Episode 7 trailer. There's a whole bunch of new footage here, so we will break it all down because it is going to get super messed up. It is the penultimate episode, meaning that there's only one final episode after this. Homelander sitting behind President Calhoun's desk in the White House kind of makes you wonder what has happened to President Calhoun. Starting at the beginning of the trailer footage, we start with Homelander inside the 7 Tower. The interesting thing about this is that Eric Kripke, the showrunner, when they finished filming the very final episode, or the very final moment of the series, he actually took a picture inside this room as they were getting ready to tear it down, like the set was torn down, because they don't need to film any more scenes in here anymore. So even though this is only episode 7, I kind of wonder when our last scene in this room is going to be, if they're going to have a moment at the end of the finale with like an ending montage, and there'll be some moment in the aftermath of however they deal with Homelander in this, with Vought picking up the pieces and just moving forward, because that was Stan Edgar's whole thing with his evil monologue in a previous episode to Mother's Milk, saying that even if they were able to defeat Homelander, he would just swoop back in and capitalism would just do its thing, and Vought would continue being as evil as ever, and they were really like the true villain. Like the true villain is actually capitalism. Corporations must grow, money must be earned, so the wheel must continue turning no matter what. Just something to remember in the back of your mind, even though we're mostly focused on what's happening with Homelander versus the boys in these final 2 episodes. Probably the most notable thing in this scene is that Homelander is by himself. The mural up on top is also just him, and also remember earlier this season, or before the events of this season, he replaced the mural of the 7 that's in gold with just him. There's nobody else, but he does look to his side as if somebody is entering the room and he's hearing them come in. You can't quite tell who it is, so maybe it's Soldier Boy or somebody else that he's close with, because he looks like he's expecting them and he's kind of pleased that they're showing up, like he's kind of happy that someone is showing up. Not totally clear when this is happening during the episode. They jump across the timeline of the episode all over the place in the trailer, so not really sure when things actually happen based on this footage.
In this new world, there is no room for heresy.
We get a scene of O-Father in another room saying, in this new world, I think the idea is that they're conducting Homelander loyalty groups and looking for more people to round up, or just trying to indoctrinate more people into the Homelander church. Basically more of what Vought has been doing in the background, brainwashing people as much as possible slowly. Sage's whole thing previously was also wanting to brainwash all the children so that they'd be more compliant when they were older, easier for Vought to deal with when they got older. This is what he means when he says there is no room for heresy, like you have to believe that Homelander is God. Interestingly, they cut this with a scene of the Deep spiraling out on a dog after the events of last week's episode. He's probably still remorseful over killing Black Noir too, because even though he said that they were never bros, they were definitely bros. Like, they definitely cared about each other like really good friends. But the line, there is no room for heresy, also probably makes it sound like he is questioning his true loyalty to Homelander. Like, how far is he willing to go for Homelander? Because he's already eaten his friends in front of Homelander to please him. Like, he ate his friend a couple seasons ago. That was really like the beginning of the end for him, the minute that he ate his friend. There are a couple moments this season and last season that made you wonder if he might be the next person to betray Homelander, like A-Train eventually turned to the boys' side. But each time he's doubled down, and the show has mostly used him for comedy, like just the stupidest, weirdest character on the 7 who will just do anything that Homelander tells him, and has completely sold out his own morals, which is where the fish line came in from previously. We know it was you, Kevin. We know it was you. Meaning that the fish knew that he sold them out for the pipeline to begin with. Not that he destroyed the pipeline because that was Black Noir, but that he was responsible for the pipeline being there in the first place. All I'm really expecting from his character at this point, because it's episode 7, like there's only 2 episodes left if you include this episode, is some hilarious comeuppance where he will get what he deserves in the way that Firecracker got what she deserves for selling out all her morals. Like, he's basically like the next version of Firecracker in that kind of storyline. Then they cut this footage of Dognot and Huey a little bit weirdly. I don't think it's the same scene. I think they're two completely different scenes, but you see a blood splatter on Huey's face. I think it's connected to the scene where he and Butcher get captured by the Seven, and they're in this interrogation room about to be questioned maybe before whatever this blood splatter on his face is. And it's the scene from the earlier trailers where he's talking about Billy Joel, you may be right, and Butcher gets pissed off at him because he's talking too much about Billy Joel.
You may be right.
I'm always bloody right.
No, that's my number 3 Billy Joel song.
Oh, I knock it off.
Not totally clear who captures them or what happens after that scene with the two of them, though. Then there's a much longer scene of Dognot and She-Line from Teenage Kicks attacking a whole bunch of regular people inside this auditorium with the boys' mother's milk trying to kill them. It kind of seems like these scenes are attached to the O Father scenes where he's telling them that they need to fall into line and believe in Homelander as God. There's no room for heresy. Like, that's what he's actually talking about. And you have a bunch of regular people here, particularly younger people, that they're trying to indoctrinate. So it seems like She-Line and Dognot start ripping people up when they don't believe in Homelander as God, like they sort of rebel against what's happening here. My assumption is that Annie and Mother's Milk break in here to try and free them. Notice behind her there's a Tech Knight poster. Given that Mother's Milk pulls the gun on her, I'm assuming that he's able to take her out like she probably dies. We're episode 7 too, so there are probably going to be a bunch more bodies that drop. Maybe that also means that they're able to kill Dognot too, because he's not like a real big character of consequence, so it'll be much easier for the show to kill him off too in this big scene. We get another scene of Huey talking to Butcher about how they've lost, like this is after the events of last week's episode where Homelander gets the V1, so they go back to their base, and they're trying to figure out what to do next. You also notice that Sage is still with them here, and she stabs herself through the eye to make herself stupid again, probably because she's spiraling out too, the way she was in last week's episode when she saw that she was surprised by what Homelander did, giving him the V1. Maybe she's just taking a little break. I don't think that she ever said exactly how long it takes for her brain to regenerate, but it happens relatively quickly, like within an hour or two, like pretty closely. Then I'm assuming she calms down and she tries to come up with a contingency plan, and that informs what they do towards the last half of the episode. Butcher answers Huey, saying that no matter what, they are not going to stop. They're just going to continue to try until they're all dead, even if a bunch of them die. Basically to let you know that all the boys are also expendable in Butcher's eyes too. Whatever it takes, no matter who has to die, he is going to try and take down Homelander. So they really want you to wonder if Butcher is going to do something that's like really irredeemable in the last 2 episodes in service of that, in service of trying to kill Homelander. There's another scene of a character drowning in the ocean, not clear who it is. It looks a little bit like the Deep, but it doesn't seem like the Deep because he has sleeves on, so I don't think that it's meant to be him. We get that scene of Homelander inside his apartment inside Seven Tower, looking at the diorama with the giant statue of himself as Jesus and God.
As our very own American prophet Homelander delivers his weekly sermon, streaming live every Sunday.
This might be connected to the Easter celebration where they're going to unveil him to the world as God. Like they're basically going to try and push it on people and disseminate the Homelander Bible. There's another scene of O Father broadcasting inside his church here. He fought Annie in the previous episode, so it's not totally clear what's happening here. This is probably just part of their big celebration to unveil Homelander as God. If you remember, on the wall, there was one of the Gen V characters, Kate Dunlap, with all the other psychically powered superheroes that Vought has, seeming like Homelander was going to use them to do something. My assumption is that he wanted to use the psychics to push the idea on everyone to believe that he was God. Like they're going to use people's superpowers to force people to believe in him as God. We finally get another scene of Marie Moreau and Jordan showing up. It's not totally clear what they're doing here. They're probably just tied to one of the subplots during this episode. Homelander does another takeoff. It's not clear where he is or where he's taking off from. He always does this weird thing with his arms too. People question that. Why does he do that? I think it's just meant to be an affectation that Anthony Starr came up with when they were filming this back in earlier seasons. Like, oh, Homelander would do this with his hands when he took off. And we finally get the scene of Homelander inside the Oval Office in the White House behind the president's desk. President Calhoun is nowhere to be found, so I think we're all on the same page that he probably winds up killing President Calhoun at some point in this episode, but it's not clear when in the episode this scene actually happens, if it's at the beginning of the episode or if it's at the end of the episode. Because I wouldn't be surprised, even if they're going to change the ending from the original comics ended with a big battle inside the White House, so I wouldn't be surprised if they try to end the show in that way too, before like a final montage at the end to show you how life continues after they deal with Homelander. That'll probably be like the actual final moment of the series with like a montage to show you what happens to all the other characters that do wind up surviving into the future. But now that we are getting close, everybody start posting all your death predictions. Remember, only 2 episodes left, so expect a couple big deaths in this episode, then at least a few more really major ones in the actual finale. But I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about Homelander's ultimate fate. The show has made it seem like one of the changes they'll make from the comics is that they might let Homelander survive, but find a way to take away his powers because he views that as being even worse than dying. He literally said that again to the Legend when he let him survive after he showed him some compassion. There was also that funny moment too where the Legend kind of put his hand on him and Homelander didn't know how to deal with it because most people were too afraid of him to touch him. So he let the Legend live because he was not afraid of him. He was so impressed by that and the fact that he was nice to him, and so many people only showed him respect because they were afraid of him, not because they loved him or wanted to show him respect. That also seems like the easiest way to get killed by Homelander is be terrified of him. But remember, in that scene, he was praying to Mindspace Stillwell, please don't leave me alone like one of them. Please don't take away my powers, basically.
Leave me here to just rot. Don't just let me become nothing like him.
So because that is his greatest nightmare, wouldn't that be the fitting end for his character, for them to take away his powers and for him to be forced to live like a regular person, where everybody would no longer be afraid of him and just treat him like the joke that he is? It would also be a way to pay off A-Train's line at the beginning of the season when he killed him, justice for A-Train kind of moment. You're nothing without your powers. Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below, and if you think you spotted any Easter eggs or references in the video that I didn't talk about, just write them below in the comments. My full episode 7 video will post Wednesday morning after they release it, so be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. There's a couple other big things happening this week too. The Punisher special presentation is supposed to drop Tuesday night. My full Easter egg video breakdown of that will post after they release it. So we will see how that sets him up for Spider-Man Brand New Day. I've already done a big trailer video for that. Click here for that, and click here for all my boys episodes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.